God. They're here again. I'm not gonna sleep for 2 days.
Okay, that was a bit exaggerated. And the key word here is a bit. Spending 2 days with Viktor Larkhill when you have specific tasks that you need to complete within those 2 days or a day and a half basically means that you don't really get any sleep. Now, I've had the Viktor Larkhill experience the first time he was here, the first time we met, which was this summer a few months ago when we rescued Hachiko. He rescued Hachiko. I was just in the car and we went to pick up Apollo from Dash. So I kind of knew what I was in for this time and I was a bit more prepared, mentally prepared that is. You can never be physically prepared for what you are going to do. So anyway, I thought it would be interesting to give you an idea of what it feels like to actually spend 2 days, about 48 hours with this team. So they arrived late at night from Spain. We met for dinner, of course. We hadn't seen each other for 3 months or something. And then the next 2 days were project days. The first project was Richard that he got from Dar in Kardica, that's up north. And the second day was the Takis shelter project, which is down in the south in the island of Crete. So we had a very early start the first day. It's like 7:30 in the morning. We had a very quick breakfast. We got all the morning traffic. It took us 2 hours to leave Athens. Finally, we left Athens. It was a very long drive. Yes, I slept on the back of the car, and yes, they were trying to wake me up every half an hour or so. With a few stops at the gas stations, toilets, junk food, etc., we made it to Kardica after 5 hours. Actually, we met sweet Hermione, and Hermione is one of the rescuers that I have been following for years. One of the first rescuers I started following. She was the very first person I donated to back in 2000, I don't remember what, where she had rescued a dog named Apollo, who was abandoned and had been blinded by, awns in his eyes. It was horrible. And I've been trying to help her and I've been admiring her work for years. And I've never met her. It was thanks to Viktor that I finally got to go there and meet her and the other girls and visit their shelter for the very first time. And this is impressive because it actually took from someone to come from Spain for me to go meet a Greek rescuer. You can really see in that footage how small Hermione is or how big Viktor Larkhill is. I mean, seriously, he's tall. He's really, really tall. We went in to sign some weird paperwork. That's a story for another video, but anyway, we had fun about it. Went to the mayor's office. Viktor signed all the formal legal papers he needed to sign so that he gets, Richard out of Greece 100% the legal way on camera. We had a very quick lunch. We also got some lunch for the girls at the shelter. Then we went to the shelter. Jeez, I'm tired already. I finally got to meet the other girls too. Katerina and Fotini were doing an amazing job. Hermione seems more like the front man. Those two are very low profile. We get around, I get to see all their dogs. Some of their dogs I've been following their rescue stories. I have videos of their rescue stories on my channel because Hermione does such good work that I really wanted to promote it and show it more. The dogs are adorable and they're some of the most social and sweet dogs that I have ever seen. Finally we got to Richard, who is so excited to have people there around. He didn't know what was going on, but dogs I think sense something. They sense when it is about them, and I think he sensed that. It was very obvious in the way he was, going around from one person to the other, suddenly feeling somewhat important, I think. Anyway, very emotional moment, when a dog is taken out of the shelter and you know that he's going to get the best care ever. I couldn't have imagined for a better place for him to be at. Behind the scenes, there was a lot of actual talking between, mainly Viktor and Hermione, and I saw something that I had seen before happened to me, and it is amazing, and I really wanted to let you know that the amount of advice Hermione got from Viktor was priceless. It was as priceless that right now, only a few weeks after she met him, she has her own YouTube channel, she has her own Patreon page, and it's suddenly as if he gave her a boost of confidence and he gave her the type of advice that she needed to take a step forward. And thank you for all the advice you've given me also. So anyway, then it was a 5-hour drive back, of course. They dropped me off at home late that night, and 3 hours later we were supposed to be at the airport and catch a flight to Crete. So I slept for 3 hours, they slept for I think an hour and a half. So the next day they picked me up again, we were at the airport. I got to be at an airport with Viktor Larkhill. We landed in Crete, and then of course the Turkish shelter is not, right next to the airport. It's about an hour and a half away. So we rented a car, we drove and we drove and we drove and we drove. We finally arrived, we met Takis. Impressive when you have known someone online and you've seen him talk, you've seen him rescue, you know what he is, what he looks like, what the way he talks. When you finally get to meet him, you're like, oh my god, you're exactly as you are in the videos. And it's true, he's a very genuine Greek guy that of course I know and of course I've been following and never got a chance to go there. And again, I met my second rescuer for the first time within 2 days, thanks to Viktor Larkhill, and I was invited there actually by Viktor because he's just a very generous person, and thank you so much. We drove to the shelter. The shelter it's not a shelter, it's a mountain of dogs. I have no words to describe it. We really enjoyed our time there. Even Sergio got time off camera. Yeah, I don't know, I'm still working on what type of video could I ever do about Takis and what this whole experience really meant, because the place is impressive. Anyway, of course, Viktor never comes empty-handed, so I've never seen so many miltephorans together in my life, and you might not understand it, but this is very important for a Greek rescuer. Leishmaniasis is a deadly disease. Oh, he's had it actually. He's had the treatment. He's doing fine now. So we left. We had a very nice lunch by the sea. And then we started talking and talking and talking. You've seen the Q&A that we did. That was over an hour. It seemed to be never ending, so be careful, those of you who said yes to a podcast, because it's going to be long if it happens. By the end of our talk, this was the results. Anyway, then we went back to the airport. We had to catch a plane back to Athens. I came home. And that was it for me basically, and I had been recovering from it ever since. Well, not really, but I did need 2-3 days of very good, sleep and recovery from it, because it's really not easy traveling, getting boats, getting cars, going here, going there, going through all that emotional, thing of meeting so many dogs and talking to people and filming and making stories up in your head, and then taking more, planes, and did I say boats before? We didn't take a boat. And taking planes and then driving again, and then going back, and then charging the camera, and then checking the footage, and then waking up in 3 hours. Oh my God. So that was it for me that night. For them, it was one more day, because they had to go back to Spain with the dog and then take the dog to the clinic. It is impressive. Basically, that was it. That intro in the beginning pretty much sums up an experience. I'm really grateful for many things. Not grateful just because, he came over from Spain and rescued Richard, that I had fallen in love with, and I really wanted to help this dog. I'm grateful for all the other things that you can't really see them in a rescue video, because they happen behind the scenes. Spending 2 days with Viktor Larkhill means a lot of traveling, a lot of meeting of people, filming, a lot of talking. You're very tired, you're exhausted, you're hungry. It means junk food and proper food when you have the chance, but a lot of junk food from, gas stations. And basically a lot of information. You need your brain to process all that, and you need also your brain to process all the information that you get from Viktor Larkhill, because he is not a 20-year-old schoolboy. Of course, this is a person who has seen almost everything anyone can see when it comes to animal rescue. He's seen and rescued animals from practically all over the world. He's lived in Turkey for years. He's spent time in Greece. He's lived in Spain. He's rescued dogs from India, and he's rehomed dogs to the States. So there is this huge amount of knowledge and of stories that are coming from a person who has actually experienced them. Those are not stories that someone read online and shares them with you. So the more you want to learn, the more you can learn. And apart from the rescuing, which I'm grateful for, apart from all the help when it comes to advice and all the help when it comes to promotion, which I'm also grateful for, mainly if I had to choose one thing, would be all those stories and all that information and knowledge that suddenly within a couple of days you become more wise if you are really interested in the subject of animals, and you become more knowledgeable. So it's one of the reasons why you end up mentally exhausted as well. So that's it. You come back, you just fall on the floor and wish to sleep for 48 hours, but in a way, when they're gone, you miss them. You really miss them. This is what I looked like for 2 days after we got back. I could barely walk my dogs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.